Nova, Flaccid means without. So, when I was choosing the title, I was thinking amongst the works, there are some works, we have, human objects in it. I mean, the human being, as a subject or object of the work. And in some of them, we have everything except human being. It's all about the lack and laws of, the humanity. First of all, the medium of the works are, mostly photography and a short movie. And I don't call it video, but in photo sequence format, huge frames. Within each frames we have a couple of shots, and mostly black and white. They're all about the situation after the presidential elections, riot in Tehran. But I'm not showing anything directly. It's all about that, but without seeing anything about that directly. So it's totally about a kind of a body of absences. It's kind of inspired by the huge violences emerged at the stake at the time, but I just tried to deal with that violence without showing that violence. So it's in a way super personal, but I just relied on my sense of intuition as a kind of representative a representation of that of the body of the society. But it's all about the absence of the culture. And the culture which is being replaced by new forms of it, which is not mine. I'm not talking about the kind of cultural invasion or something like that, but reification of a culture, which is, something's going on inside my country which doesn't have any context. And it looks kind of exotic, it looks good looking, but in an exotic way. It doesn't fit, it doesn't suit my people. But I'm not just yelling about this, that why is that? I'm just posing some sort of question of what's going on, why it's happening. In this series of work, I was at the time of producing them, I was suffering from the abandoning of my culture, destroyment of my culture, which is happening in an instant in my country nowadays. Yeah. The title of this work is the representation, not representation, representation of the self-portrait number 2. This is my self-portrait. One sentence is getting repeated over and over, and in a way constituting my self-portrait, which says, it only means that you may not be able to argue with the admirer of the violence. So I'm saying, okay, that's fine. If you want to represent me like this, I don't have any problem with that. But be careful, if somebody's cutting this a screen of representation and doing this, you'll see that the frame is empty. So this is only the system that they're representing me as a body of violence. So in a way, I stole it. Not in a way, literally I stole it. I thought that maybe it's a painting, just was left there, from, the former students. I brought it into my studio, I opened it, and I said, oh, that's a fantastic, empty frame. I'm gonna print one of my photographs and install it in, but I didn't do that, so I use it as kind of, typical notion of the frame, the centralization, the concept of centralization, defining, labeling people, within the frame. Yeah, it's a stolen material, I have to admit that, confess. It's a quote from Karl Popper, who's the kind of, leader of the liberal theory and, neoliberal, philosophy, and have a huge rejection toward Marxism, and I have a lot of, dislike for this guy. That's why I chose, this kind of quote from him. What is amazing for me is the word "it." That it only means that, as if the whole thing is an object. When somebody is being defined as violent, as a noun, is an it. It's an object. So it's not a subject. We don't want to know it. We don't want to deal with it anymore. Just let it be there. So that's why I chose it from him. If I'm going to summarize the whole show in one word or one expression, it would be about the cultural reification, not objectification or reification, because this show is all about my culture, which is getting shattered and shattered and shattered.